freaked out as soon as I heard it on the news. We live clear over on the east side, and I flew over here as fast as I could.
Terrified parents like Angela Whited hugged their children in tearful reunions after the lockdown was over at Merrill Middle School.
I was hoping that it wouldn't happen like other schools and everybody would get hurt, but everybody, I guess, is fine.
It all started around 2 p.m. as students and parents were getting ready for a school Halloween party. A student's mother and father started arguing.
Came in the door, wanted her to leave with him. When she declined, he made some comment about possibly having a gun, possibly shooting people inside the building.
The school went on immediate lockdown, and the suspect, 35-year-old Ryan Collier, fled the building on foot.
Our number one priority was the safety of the kids, and that's what we did. And our team, I'm so proud of our team, they did exactly what we asked them to do.
Inside, the students gathered on the floor in classrooms and the cafeteria.
I was just scared.
As parents waited outside, confused and desperate for answers.
I didn't know what was going on, and then all of a sudden the cop came around and with his guns drawn, and I thought, oh gosh, this is serious.
As the manhunt for the suspect got further away from the school, officials decided to end the lockdown.
We ask that you don't come up to the door, but that we are going to usher them out.
Not even an hour after the lockdown was lifted, officials put the school on lockdown for a second time, since the suspect was still on the loose.
We have protocol that we have to follow, and I think for the most part, we did what we needed to do.
No students or staff were physically hurt, but it was certainly a day that left kids emotionally drained and worried.
Why would a person come here with a gun? Like, we're kids. We can't really defend ourselves or do anything about it.
One thing parents will do is hug their kids a little tighter tonight.
It scared me to death. I just never thought it would happen here.
In a state where some like country and others prefer rock, Wednesday's beat was music to everyone's ears.
Yes, it has been coming down pretty hard.
What were tiny trickles across southern Iowa a couple days ago are now bank-full rivers creeping toward bridge bottoms. Ditches that had been bone dry roared.
Thundering, lightning. I mean, you can hear it now.
Most years, this would be a typical spring downpour.
Sometimes you had to have wipers on as hard as you could have them, and you still couldn't see very well.
But this has been no typical year. Just ask a construction worker.
They said you can't find wet dirt, no matter how deep you dig.
Now suddenly gutters are gushing, the soil is soaked, and the radar's still lit up all the way to Kansas.
Oh, I think it's great, especially in this town where we closed down the lake a few summers ago to get the lake water clean again. And now it's starting to fill back up. I think it's great. My husband and I have a boat, and we can't wait to get back out on the lake.
Everybody kind of depends on the farmers, and they've needed this. But
there's a fine line between enough and too much. 3 inches in one morning is pushing it. Several more in the forecast has them a little antsy.
Maybe the drought's over.
For now, those streams keep rising to a beat that keeps falling.
Here's a look at Saylorville's mile-long bridge around 2:30 this afternoon. It was still open to westbound traffic after a 2-vehicle accident.
Cold, cold, cold.
The leading vehicle in the accident was a female driver with her 2 children. No one was hurt. As the line of vehicles waiting to get through piles up, more problems develop on the mile-long bridge. You can see by the glare off the road of these headlights that the bridge was as slick as can be.
If I could, I would, but I'm sliding all over.
This black pickup truck got stuck and couldn't get turned around. While the operator was spinning its tires trying to build traction, check out this video KCCI photojournalist Courtney Kinser captures.
Thought I was going slow enough, didn't know it was that bad.
A tow truck that came to the scene to remove vehicles from the first accident finds himself in one.
It's nothing but ice. Nothing but slick ice. I was on the brakes, let off, on the brakes, let off. It's just nothing but ice.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah, I was shaking in my boots.
It's a rare thing to be allowed this close to a working firefighter. But we've been invited to get closer to see just how arson is changing the game.
This is my my time to learn.
36-year-old Jesse Pedersen
A lot of things to look at.
has been fighting fires for 11 years. Now he's getting a chance to sift through the rubble for a cause.
We get to go put them out, but to learn how they started, it's just that it's cool.
Did they use the toaster?
They used the toaster, yeah.
Fire investigator class is one piece of the state fire marshal's overall plan to bring Iowa's arson fires under control.
Search.
This is another.
Show me better.
Rocket is an accelerant canine. He can identify 11 different odors and pinpoint the spot where an accelerant like gasoline was used. The state is working with State Farm Insurance on a grant that will put more dogs like Rocket into the hands of local fire departments.
Such a good boy!
The State Fire Marshal's office has 10 agents covering the entire state. There were more than 1,400 suspicious fires last year alone. And so firefighters are becoming the front line, not just for fighting the fire, but identifying the cause as well.
The better job that we can do of training these folks to go back out into their own personal areas and recognize arson, put together good cases, and get them prosecuted, we're going to see a drop in arsons. It happens every time.
It must have been really horrible if my son got to the point where he would hurt my husband, my daughters, and I to take his own life.
She'll never know exactly how horrible the bullying was.
We had no indication that anything was wrong. He's the happiest kid we've ever met. Everybody who meets him says that.
AJ kept a tough exterior and a smile on his face, despite what his mom is now learning from his friends as they pay their respects.
About a year and a half ago, AJ was outed as a gay at Southeast Polk High School. And everybody got along with my son really well until they found out that he was gay.
His friends say he was constantly ridiculed, not only for being gay, but because he was half black and was born with a cleft lip.
He's different. He doesn't add up to what they're used to.
But what bullies considered different, others considered special.
He was individual. Everybody who's met him has said he's a character. He never met a stranger.
As much as some people couldn't understand it, that distinctive personality drew kindness out of others. It's what inspired this 2007 KCCI story about a dentist who met AJ and decided to give him a smile for Christmas.
Other kids might not make fun of me anymore because my teeth are going to be straight.
From that innocent time until high school, the burden of bullies grew heavy on AJ.
He lets the things that hurt him build up without anyone knowing.
The burden became too much before anyone could do for him what he did for others.
Several people who are gay or lesbian teens have told us that AJ saved them from committing suicide when they were feeling desperate.
Now in his death, his family and friends hope he will continue to make that difference.
Bullying is a big deal and it's still happening.
You're hurting people with words. I lost my best friend because of words.
And I really hope for AJ's sake that we can stop it so that maybe even if we could save one more life from bullying, that would be a success.
It's not, is she coming home? It's when.
Michael Shepard has spent the past week trying to explain to his 3 other children why their sister isn't home.
We basically tell them when it's time for her to be back, she'll be back.
Each day is painful as he and his wife wait. Shepard says their faith has been tested, but not broken.
Mostly it's the family and the community that's keeping me from falling apart.
A community that has truly wrapped its arms around the Shepard family, whether it's searching tirelessly or painting the town purple, Kathleen's favorite color. Each ribbon is a reminder of the kind-hearted 15-year-old who loves animals and the Minnesota Vikings.
Just all around, I couldn't ask for a better, better daughter.
Shepard says his daughter often went to the library after school, so he wasn't alarmed when she didn't immediately come home last Monday. But after library closing time, Shepard says he and his wife were worried. And then they got the phone call from authorities that would change their life. Kathleen was missing, but Desi escaped and was able to give authorities a description of Clunder and his red pickup truck.
She keeps saying she doesn't want to be called a hero. So I won't call her that, but I am. There's no bigger fan than my wife and myself.
As each day goes by, many unanswered questions continue to haunt the Shepard family.
There's no way we can understand that, but why he got out, that's the part that upsets me That's the part that I don't understand.
Had Klunder had to serve a mandatory sentence for his previous kidnapping conviction, he would still be in prison for 18 more years.
I want to let everybody know that the more that they show support, the easier it will be for us to change the laws so that nobody else has to go through it.
I'm not even sure devastating is the right word to use.
For a town that's remained so hopeful.
Well, I think even though it had been 3 weeks, the community, we still had a lot of hope. I mean, we still were really hoping for a good outcome.
Saturday's early morning news was a devastating blow. As authorities announced in a press conference, they found what they believe is Kathleen Shepard's body. Hearts dropped and tears were shed.
I think we're definitely a community that's mourning at this point because, I mean, and Mike has said this too, but Kathleen wasn't just his daughter. She was a part of the community. And so as a community, we really feel like she was one of our own.
For nearly 3 weeks, searchers worked tirelessly and a community rallied together in purple. Just hours before the discovery was made, Kathleen's father told us this.
I don't need to know the details. I know she was taken. I know what he's done in the past. So I don't need to know the details. I just need to have her home.
It's not the way anyone hoped, but Dayton's Angel is home and surely wearing her Vikings jersey in heaven.
A life taken too soon.
It's okay to get excited about the fact that we are doing a celebration in honor of Kathleen.
Hundreds of people from the community and beyond celebrate the life of Kathleen Shepard, a girl who always had a smile on her face.
Remember how she made you laugh. Remember how, she was there when you needed her, or just at a time that things were not going so well.
But now that things are tough and unbearable for the Shepard family, they turn to her for help as they grieve.
All of you who knew her, picture her in your mind right now. Picture the best memory you have of her and hold it there.
A snapshot of a kind young lady who always had an extra hand.
It's all Kathleen ever wanted. To be happy and help. There was not a time that I can remember her turning down anybody who asked for help.
A message that Kathleen's dad, Michael, hopes will live on through her loved ones, just like her spirit will.
I want you to think of Kathleen and do one kind thing a day, and we can make this world a better place.
Just went to walk home and asked us if we wanted to mow lawn to make money. Told him we had to go ask our parents, and then he said he'd give us a ride, and then didn't take us home. Told us we could call, and then just went on from there.
It was May 20th. Desi and her friend Kathleen Shepard were trapped inside this red pickup truck driven by registered sex offender Michael Klunder. He was taking them to a hog confinement where he worked.
I don't know, just kept thinking this wasn't right.
Klunder got Kathleen out of his truck, and Desi, just 12 years old, took a chance and made her escape.
I had to run through a lot of woods and then cross the field and run through more. Couldn't really see any buildings.
She made it to the nearest farmhouse, but wasn't certain she was safe.
I actually was kind of afraid because I thought he would be near his house. So I thought it was going to be his relatives or something, so I really didn't know what to do. Had to take a chance to find out.
The gutsy move paid off. A stranger took her in.
I actually thought that when she called me, I thought that I misunderstood her. I thought I was overreacting for no reason. And when I got there, I realized she was serious, and that was about when it hit me, was when I seen her when I first got there.
How often do you think about that?
Every day. It's the only thing on my mind.
Her good friend has been laid to rest. She wears a K around her neck and today stood alone under a towering evergreen in Dayton. It's all covered in purple, the tree, a giant ribbon, flowers and balloons, Kathleen's favorite color. People here mourn for Kathleen and know that Desi's mere existence is a miracle.
I tell her every day, I'm so glad she's here. Every day I tell her, she's so sick of hearing it, but I don't care. I told her today I was glad she's here.
Pretty cool. You get a lot of people now that you don't even know or don't remember just coming up and hugging you and shake your hand. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So many people call you a hero, and rightly so.
Yeah, and I really hate it.
You hate that?
Being called a hero, being called brave, I hate it. Can't stand it.
Really?
Don't feel like I am, so really like to just be called by my name.
Why don't you feel like you are?
Because I'm not brave, I ran, that's cowardly, and I don't feel like a hero because I couldn't save her.
We'd still be looking for both of them, I believe. And we wouldn't even know who, what, when, where, why, or how.
Thoughts of that day fill nearly every moment and haunt her at night.
I don't sleep till like 3 in the morning. I can't sleep. When I do sleep, it's pretty crappy.
Desi and her family are already seeking counseling, but know that life will never be the same.
It must be so hard to try and return to a normal life and actually let her be out of your sight for a while.
So far, that hasn't happened. Really? She has to be with a boy, because obviously going somewhere with a girl didn't work.
Try to forget that, but can't. It's gonna scar you for life. What can you do about it?
Rightly may we recall to mind today our many causes for thanksgiving as we gathered following our first harvest in this fair new land.
Make us a people who welcome outcasts, demand justice, share what we have been given, and walk in the ways of peace.
No, Thanksgiving is not to us a holiday, for all the days are holy. Nor is it a season as though there were a fit time for giving thanks and praise to our Maker and another time to refrain from the same. But Thanksgiving is to us a continuous duty and a constant joy, as habitual as drawing breath.
County blacktops see plenty of big rigs.
This is once in a lifetime.
Most 18-wheelers.
It's huge.
Headed for the horizon.
Okay, we ready?
But the load that passed the Van Wykes Tuesday?
That's a house that's been in the area for many, many years.
Froze farmers in their overalls.
Dates back to the late 1800s.
Throw in the still attached porch and the imposing monster creeping down the blacktop west of Monroe weighed 100 tons.
It was built in 1865. It's the oldest wood frame historical house in Jasper County.
A towering 3-story. And that doesn't count the one all the neighbors swear by.
You mean the hauntedness of it?
It just has the ambiance of any scary movie.
The place known as Maple Grove Hill has a century-old reputation.
I felt a hand take me like that and turn me around. There wasn't anybody there.
A house with so many stories.
And the ladle rose up like someone was holding it.
We spent the night back in 1994. Most?
This is the bad room.
Involved a woman thought to be the original owner, Regina Long.
Her hands were up at the curtains, like trying to part the curtains. But my God, she doesn't have any feet. She's hanging in the air. It's real. People think it's a lot of poppycock and bunk. It's enough to make your skin crawl.
Back then, the mystery was unexplainable.
She loved this house. Maybe that's why. You know, she just doesn't want to leave.
But 20 years later,
mile and a half.
Plenty wondered what would happen when Maple Grove Hill took a 5-mile road trip.
As the mover, you almost dread move day, so all things can go wrong.
Its old site had been sold to one family, the house to another, which is when Billy Bell
Move day's fun.
went to work.
All right, let's put her on this corner.
But as he negotiated turns and squeezed past power poles, everyone, it seemed, had one question.
Whether the ghost goes with the house when the house gets moved?
Or whether its unexplained past didn't feel like going anywhere.
The players are the stars of the Super Bowl, the artists are the stars of the Grammys. So at Bacon Fest, you guessed it.
Hot bacon.
Before partying like a pig,
We have 36 ovens.
you need plenty of pork.
I know it's 3 tons of bacon. Fry that off first and don't do that yet.
And a crew of 40 lining pans, dropping fryers,
since 8 o'clock.
And bacon, nonstop.
Hopefully we'll be done by 8 tonight.
Because the party they're prepping for, the Blue Ribbon Bacon Fest, starts shortly after breakfast.
I expect to have about 144 pans of bacon in the oven every 15 minutes.
We have bacon going in.
Since the fest that sells out in seconds quadrupled in size, they needed help.
All right, we got hot bacon coming out.
So Iowa Culinary Institute fired up their ovens.
The first year, we only assisted with the bacon explosions.
And you're basically like you're making a pizza?
The fried, crumbled bacon rolled in sausage and then wrapped in a sheet of,
my dog's gonna love me.
You can smell the bacon, the grease.
It's just gonna be oozing out of me.
It's not a bad smell.
Last year,
I says, what do you think I've been doing all day? And I just went like this. He says, you smell like bacon.
You really have soft hands after working with this much bacon.
And slick shoes.
You can easily slip right here.
But so far,
no bacon emergencies.
Because Ian Jensen
This is not glamorous.
is up to his yellow gloves
Yummy.
in drippings.
They needed help over here, so now I'm stuck doing this till 3 o'clock.
While classmates cook, slab, and bake, the guy with culinary dreams
Maybe not so much doing this, but...
knows he's in for grease nightmares.
Oh, it's very disgusting. It smells. I'm already sick of bacon. I'll probably never eat it again.
Bacon weaver.
The rest of us,
I believe I'll be doing this in my sleep.
will just celebrate our way.
It's Iowa. I mean, what else? I mean, bacon.
Eric Hansen, KCCI 8 News.
It's amazing and crazy both at the same time.
Iowa's news leader.
I took that roof off.
The second wave raked into the farm almost immediately after the first.
I don't believe it got so much help so quick.
It's that kind of spirit of the Midwest.
Without any hesitation, they touched down onto Mick Malloy's farm.
That's my cousin. He come all the way from Union.
I'm out here to help a real nice cousin of mine.
Just a friend and neighbor, just here to help.
It's the atmosphere, I think, of the country people helping each other.
Sorting through the tin
We're going up here to dump this load
into a burn pile.
The storm was so powerful, it took the roof of that silo and whipped it all the way over here.
I can't believe, people uptown said there wasn't that much wind.
A swath of storms
Like a coon to me.
can expose a stowaway.
Must have went for a ride out of the barn.
Yet another lucky and grateful fellow on this Rhodes farm.
Sometimes you need it, sometimes the other guy needs it, so you just get after it.
Pretty proud to have friends like that.
It's one of the most popular and most unique events of the 2013 Drake Relays. Some of the world's best pole vaulters doing their thing inside of a mall.
It's totally about competition. They got more guts than I do. I'll tell you that.
It's how they can just make it run that speed and just make it over that bar without even touching it. It's incredible.
And for one night,
It's awesome.
Jordan Creek Town Center
It's a pretty good crowd here.
transformed into a pole vaulting paradise.
They're amazing. They really are. Look at all of them, and they're just built, and their arms are guns and everything, and they look really awesome. So it's really fun to watch.
Matt Kneifel brought his 2-year-old son.
Miles got his name because I was a track runner in college as well. Maybe he'll be a hurdler, maybe he'll be a pole vaulter. It's great for Des Moines. We get the best of the best here, and that's what it's about.
In West Des Moines, Patrick Bell, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
Every February when Cupid flies, plenty gets soured by love.
Wow, look at that!
Spoil sports repulsed by joy, affection, and gifts.
Do you like it? I do. What is it? It's
But at Grandwood School in Woodward, there's only love, excitement, and thoughtfulness.
I love it.
It was very nice of you.
Yeah, I know it is.
This is a big day. It's a big day.
Because after Ariel got her guy's gift, she hustled to the hairdresser set up in the classroom down the hall, the morning's highlight in this special education school.
They all have come to us because they have significant cognitive and behavioral needs.
Kids from all over central Iowa with challenges, but they are kids.
So we try to recreate as much what they would experience in a typical school as we can.
Big tying.
Like tying a tie for the boys and their Scooby-Doos.
God, you gotta be kidding me.
But the school-wide banquet in a heart-filled gym was just the first course in an afternoon of getting dressed up to get down. School dances make some kids cringe. For the 38 students at Grandwood, their first ever sweetheart dance with all the trimmings was a life lesson in just being a teenager, YMCA and all.
And there's some kids here that wouldn't dance, and now all of a sudden they're out dancing with everybody.
From the wallflowers to that tiara-clad couple, it was such a typical teenage dance. Exactly how they planned it.
They'll be talking about it for weeks.
Eric Hansen, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader. A generation of Americans grew up.
They're a quirky car.
In a German back seat.
Probably the most simple vehicle that was ever created.
Circus performers call them clown haulers.
You can shove people in them.
On the street, they're slug bugs.
I know all sorts of kids who play that still.
But kids in Jefferson, beware.
That is sweet.
Because if punches are proportional,
That was fantastic.
this one's worthy of a roundhouse.
It has to be custom made because there ain't nothing that big, not in this town.
This is a 1.5 scale Volkswagen Beetle.
A street-legal bug that towers over traffic.
He's 9 feet tall. He's about 22 to 23 feet long, 8 feet wide.
And draws a double take on every corner.
It's cute but huge.
Kirk Strawn and his brother Eric grew up on VWs.
And I got the bug.
So when a grown-up idea struck, they bought an airport fire truck chassis, hired a teenage welder.
Sounds a little goofy, but we'll kind of see what it is.
And hooked up a tractor engine.
Sounds like a tractor, it moves like a tractor.
Creating Big Red, named after its former life. It's big enough to haul dozens of clowns by day, but when the sun drops,
That is definitely a party machine.
the real show begins. LED lights are synced to the music blaring from its speakers.
Oh yeah.
That smile on your face
Everyone loves Big Red.
is exactly why the Strawn boys built him.
No other reason than to have fun. Life's really short, so why not try to do something like this if you have the idea?
It's like something out of a storybook.
Two boys seduced by a Beetle's curves
It was the perfect car for a 16-year-old.
who believed the only way to make a bug better is to make it bigger.
Well, that was quite a car.
Eric Hansen, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader. Drive through Holmes, Iowa without blinking,
Oh yeah, this place used to be quite a town.
and you'll see what's left.
And there used to be a hardware store, a doctor's office, a grocery store.
Now neighbors can take a census by memory,
17, 18, 19 of us.
but every one of them can tell you about the guys who were playing cards here in 1943.
There was a family here in town that didn't have any money for Christmas presents for the kids, and they made up a pot and got the kids all toys for Christmas.
And that's how it all got started.
Beth Menge's parents were there that Christmas.
And they decided that was so much fun, they'd do it again the next year. And it kind of spurred from there.
When Holmes's restaurant closed, the tradition that looks more like a beehive these days moved to nearby Clarion, where baskets are packed every December
I'd say to get a grapefruit, 2 oranges, 2 apples.
with more than just fruit.
But don't forget to send pork loins with them.
The 6 in there?
They're loaded
I think this is 36 right there. Yeah.
and delivered to every nursing home, widow, and retirement complex around.
Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you, thank you.
You're so welcome.
Everybody needs a present at Christmas time.
It makes me feel great. Makes me just feel loved and cared about.
On one December day, hundreds hand-deliver 1,000 baskets.
And now it has grown so much that we help the whole county.
But if for a second you think the Holmes Christmas Club is just a vitamin C dispensary,
Oh, way beyond fruit baskets.
think again.
Their propane was out, it's very cold, and one phone call, we had a check. No questions asked.
If your uncle's in the hospital,
I give them a gift card once in a while for gas.
every school in the county gets a check.
It might be used for buying them a winter coat if they need it, helping them get a pair of eyeglasses that their parents can't afford.
Each church gets $50 that they give out at Christmas time to a needy member.
All 46 of them. Every food pantry gets help. high schoolers get scholarships, and any family battling medical problems gets a visit from Beth.
You feel marvelous, especially when you can walk up to someone with a check and say, I understand things are not going so good, and you just hand them a check.
Add it up, and the Holmes Christmas Club gives away more than $25,000 in their county every year.
Incredible. It is incredible.
Money they raise in one night at an auction where pies routinely go for $200.
That's how we grew up. We grew up giving to each other, and that hasn't changed.
It just makes your heart grow bigger and open your arms up for the community.
If you want proof one act of kindness can be contagious and change lives, don't blink.
When it started out, they just helped like one family a year.
Because incredible things often start small.
This is truly what the meaning of Christmas is all about, is giving.
In Wright County, Eric Hansen, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader. A couple weeks before Christmas, Santa's elves have nothing.
Okay, here we go.
On a grandpa in his Gowrie garage. A guy who hadn't even touched a scroll saw until he unwrapped one from his wife 20 years ago.
And I asked her, I said, what in the devil am I going to do with that?
Lyle, the reluctant woodworker, made his kids a couple keepsakes.
Here's a kangaroo.
And then moved on to their kids, which is about the time things got crazy.
He's out here an awful lot.
Soon he was scavenging construction sites.
I'd go dumpster diving and getting wood out of there, that they were throwing away.
Recycling them into one of 150 creations. Anything, as long as he didn't have to dress it with paint, a task he hated. But eventually, the great-grandpa, who's pretty careful,
I got a short thumb there.
Realized,
your grandkids can only have so much stuff like that.
So he loaded up his Lincoln and dropped off a wagon load for some kids he'd never met.
The baby kangaroo and the mommy kangaroo sound pretty.
Kids like Maddie.
Yeah.
Who can tell you she's 3, but still has a hard time pronouncing the word leukemia.
It's beautiful.
Since she was diagnosed last May, Maddie's become a regular at Blank Children's Hospital.
The last time I was here.
And every single time,
she'll ask, well, can I paint?
Dad, come over here.
Well,
this year, Lyle Barkley dropped off 2,500 handmade toys, making the 90-minute drive twice every month, year-round. Over 18 years, the man in red has worn out 2 scroll saws and rebuilt his new one 3 times. He thinks he's blessed.
I mean, how lucky I am that my kids don't have to be down here.
But ask a teary-eyed dad.
To get stuff like that from complete strangers is pretty amazing.
And he'll tell you there's not a more generous, dumpster-diving great-grandpa in the state.
And I feel maybe she's getting some good out of it.
Watch out for the pink paint.
Eric Hansen, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
For kids who love sports, an outlet for their passion is usually just a step outside. But not everyone who loves sports can take a step.
We're just going to keep going back and forth. We're just going to be working on ball control, okay?
Tuesday nights, the Valley Church Community Center in West Des Moines comes alive.
We got this!
With sounds that only come from complete happiness.
Essentially, this is a competitive opportunity for athletes who utilize power chairs.
This summer, Adaptive Sports Iowa, part of the Iowa Sports Foundation, started a program that would let people with the most limiting of physical disabilities find freedom.
Get out of my way!
Colby Reams from Polk City has cerebral palsy and loves hockey. His mom says this is the first time she's watched her 14-year-old play a sport completely on his own.
We'd go to basketball and I'd have to help him shoot. We'd go to baseball and I'd have to help him bat. And so there wasn't really an opportunity for him to get out there and do anything by himself.
That is the sound of freedom.
Oh, get around it, get around it. Good job.
Connor is 8. A brain injury at birth has not stopped him from loving sports on TV.
He just gets so excited he can't sit still. He just wants to bounce out of his chair.
But tonight, he and his friends are actually playing a game.
It's unbelievable to see him be able to participate. It's something I never thought I'd be able to see. And it warms my heart, and it's such a blessing.
A simple blessing, a chance to play.
I sit there and I think, how special is this, that somebody thought enough of our children to create this opportunity for them.
It's no coincidence guys running machinery often share a last name.
That's all I've ever wanted to do was farm.
Farming gets in your blood.
Yeah, it's me and my dad and my nephew farms with us, and then my 5 boys.
That's oldest, James.
He's been out here helping ever since he was big enough to walk.
Dad, do you want me to come out there and catch you?
He might be a few months shy of legal on Lucas County roads, but in a field?
All right, you can pick me up right up here.
The 15-year-old can pilot a tractor worth 6 figures with precision.
Right there, no farther forward.
Even after what happened 2 years ago at planning time.
I didn't know where to believe it.
When his mom got the diagnosis.
Well, she started crying when she told me.
James had severe type 1 diabetes.
You could lose a kid right there.
To see if my math is right.
Especially counting carbs at every meal and round-the-clock blood sugar checks. Because one wild swing can put him in a coma.
So yeah, there was a lot of worry.
Making her stressed even when she did get a full night's sleep.
And that's a really upsetting morning when I realized I didn't hear any of those alarms. And is he okay in there?
Something had to change.
I'd never heard of it.
So the 7 Evans
It's not like a plug-in electronic device that's going to help you.
became 8.
Just another one to the family.
Lexi. Her name is Lexi.
A diabetic alert dog.
Heel. It's really amazing.
With a nose for trouble before James's body dishes it out.
Even humans can smell a diabetic when they're high. It smells sweet. They think that the low scent is probably acidic or something offensive to them.
When Lexi gets a whiff of his changing blood sugar levels,
There she alerted me.
she swipes at him and watches,
Good paw.
insisting he checks. A 9-month-old
Ooh, good high.
that's almost always right, and a pup that can also crack the whip.
If I'm in trouble and she paws me and I just think she's playing, she'll eventually lay on my homework and so I can't do nothing.
A partner so critical,
Lexi, Matt.
she's become James's shadow. In the field, Lexi will reach up from the floor
Good paw, okay?
and insist he test his blood minutes before a monitor would have predicted trouble.
I need to put in my carbs.
But in the field's nothing. Compared to on the field. Because like any grandma watching their number 84,
There goes James.
the warm-blooded lab might look ridiculous in a sweater and ear warmers, but she's supporting him
She pretty well knows which one he is.
from 40 yards away.
Trying to tell me something?
She can pick his scent out of the herd of sweaty high schoolers.
You know, I was pretty skeptical at first. I didn't know. You know, I never heard anything like this. And then, you know, the more I'm around her, the more I see that every day it works.
And anytime she's convinced he's in trouble, she gets more field access than any mascot.
3, 4.
Okay, Lexi.
Reminding the guy reading defenses,
Good paw.
he'll be in the doghouse unless he listens to his girl.
It's good to have her there.
Right by his side, setting up her sophomore for success, whatever field he lands in.
I just feel like he has a really loyal companion that has her eye on her nose on him too.
Eric Hansen, KCCI 8 News,
Let's go cover you back up.
Iowa's news leader.
Right now at 5, an update on the search for 15-year-old Kathleen Shepard. Good afternoon, everyone. Kevin Cooney here live in Dayton, right in front of the Southeast Webster Grant Elementary School. That is where Kathleen Shepard was last seen about 24 hours ago. Now, a news conference wrapped up just about a half an hour ago. Here is the latest on what we know. Authorities are focused on these 3 areas right here where we are at Southeast Webster Grand Elementary. As we said, where Kathleen and another 12-year-old girl were abducted near a bus stop, a hog confinement in rural Pilot Mound where the 12-year-old girl escaped, and an area in rural Dayton where the body of the suspected kidnapper, Michael Klunder, was found. Authorities have just confirmed that he died by suicide, but they are still holding out hope that Kathleen will be found alive.
We are very optimistic still. Our plan is that we're gonna find her alive. That's our hope, and we're working very hard now to find her.
Now, a few details have been released about the 12-year-old girl who, as we said, managed to escape shortly after the abduction took place. We will hear from the farmer who found her yesterday. That'll be in just a moment. But first, Laura Nichols has been out with search teams throughout the day, and she joins us now just a few miles from here where a lot of those searches were taking place. Laura?
We're just about 3 miles northeast from Dayton. That's just in the rural part of town. Now, I'm actually standing in front of the place where authorities say the suspect, Michael Klunder, was found dead. They just confirmed at a news conference about 30 minutes ago, as you heard, that he did die by suicide. We found out that he was found here in this facility right behind me here. Now, authorities have focused on this area all day searching because Klunder was found right here. They've searched these rural fields all day. Right now, the search parties are actually taking a break, but we'll show you some video from earlier where hundreds of people were out searching. We joined some of the crews. Some of the search parties looked through fields. They looked through tall grass. There was airplanes searching from the sky. Several hundred people came out, many of them volunteering their time, taking off work. Several authorities and law enforcement officers from neighboring counties and cities also participated. We learned about 120 of them. Many people contributed to this search. This has rocked this entire community. Everyone is hoping that 15-year-old Kathleen Shepard is found alive. We talked to one mom today who knows the family. She said she took off work because she knew she had to be part of this search.
I have kids. If it was my kid or anybody else's kid, maybe because I have kids, I sympathize more, but I'd want everybody out looking for them.
Now, authorities are saying they don't need any more searchers at this point tonight. They sent everyone home for the day, including the Red Cross and Salvation Army. They said if they need more tomorrow, they will contact the local media to have us put the word out that more searchers are needed. We'll keep you updated on that.
All right, Laura Nichols reporting live for us. Thank you very much, Laura. Now, we mentioned earlier in this newscast that a little earlier this morning we spoke with a farmer, just going by the name of Patrick, who found the 12-year-old girl who was able to escape just about 24 hours ago. He described what happened.
We heard a noise off this way that sounded like a wounded animal. And we started walking this way, and here come this girl, scratches all over her legs, crying a lot. And we finally got a little bit out of her that she had somehow escaped from somebody or something.
Now, Patrick says the girl ran to his farm from a hog confinement operation about a half-mile away. She was barefoot and scratched up at the time, but otherwise, Patrick said she appeared to be okay. He says he still has hope that Kathleen will be found alive.
There is, in my opinion, is a chance she's still alive, turned her ankle, and could be stuck in a ravine trying to crawl out of it. And I'm sure she probably heard all the noise, the ATVs and cars and searchlights, but if she has a turned ankle, there's nothing she can do about it, except we got to go out and find her.
And there are a lot of people in the community here who are holding out hope as well. Vanessa Peng's been talking with them, and tell us what you found out.
Kevin, this is just devastating news for a community where everyone knows everyone. And here's what some people told me earlier today.
Something that shouldn't happen.
In small town Iowa.
It never happens in your hometown. It's always in the bigger cities.
People in Dayton, a city of just over 830, are shocked. 2 young girls were abducted right behind an elementary school in broad daylight.
You think you're so safe in a small town, and
it's not true anymore.
Authorities say a 12-year-old and 15-year-old girl accepted a ride from 42-year-old Michael Klunder during a walk home. And a day later, they are still looking for Kathleen Shepard, a sophomore at Southeast Webster Grand Middle School.
She is a very sweet girl and just always has a smile on her face.
Southeast Webster Grand Superintendent Lonnie Dane says the school is reviewing safety procedures for students who walk home from school.
I believe that's something we will need to have to readdress with our parents. And I was thinking about that, trying to put together maybe some guidelines from the Iowa Department of Transportation.
Some residents are looking to a higher power to help cope with the heartbreaking incident.
Normally we wouldn't do that on a weekday, but considering the situation of the community, and it's a small community that is very close, we decided we wanted to encourage everyone to come to church and offer prayers for each other.
And whether they knew Kathleen personally, in a town where everyone knows everyone, the community is pulling together for a family in their time of need.
We're all going to be hoping and praying that it becomes a good outturn and that they find her safe.
What we're doing is waiting for an answer.
Now, earlier today at that news conference we had talked about, you could see members from the community, you could see the pain in their faces as they continue to search for Kathleen. And Kevin, we just wish this community the best of luck.
They have come together, and unfortunately it has to be for something like this. Yeah. Thank you very much, Vanessa.
Thank you.
Now, the Webster County Sheriff's Office is asking anyone with any information about the girls or information about Michael Klunder to get in hold of them. Now, they're specifically interested in the hours between 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon and 8 o'clock yesterday evening. You can give them a call. The tip line number is 515-573-1410. As you heard Laura said, right now they're not looking for more volunteers, or they don't need more people up here right now, but if there is a situation where they do need more, they'd like to have a list. And if you would like to be on that list, you're asked to first call this number. Don't show up, but just call this number, the Webster County Emergency Management number, at 515-571-6483. Leave a message with whatever available resources you might have and your contact information. Of course, we're going to continue to follow developments throughout the evening here in Dayton, but for right now, let's get back to Stacy Horst, who has a little bit more information in the studios about the suspected kidnapper in this case. Stacy?
Okay, Kevin, thank you very much. We have been digging into Michael Klunder's background tonight. We're finding out he had a very violent past. Patrick Bell joins me now with this side of the story.
Yeah,
Patrick.
very violent past indeed, Stacy. In fact, according to these state records obtained by KCCI, Michael Klunder spent nearly 2 decades in prison for 2 separate kidnapping and assault convictions. Now, this is video from 1992 when Klunder was found guilty of abducting a Cerro Gordo County woman at knife point. He was also convicted a short time later of kidnapping 2 Charles City toddlers. Those little girls were found a short time later after that crime, safe and sound, in a trash bin near Northwood, about 50 miles away. Now, Klunder was eventually given a 41-year prison sentence, but served less than half of it. He was released in February of 2011. Why? Well, because according to the Iowa Department of Corrections, the convictions by law carry no mandatory sentence.
The sentences are reduced by what we call earn time. So when someone walks in our door, if they don't have a mandatory sentence, which in this case did not, for every day they serve, 1.2 days comes off the back end, and eventually they meet, and that becomes the discharge date.
So this sounds confusing to you. It is, but that's the law. If someone's convicted of a crime, Stacy, and those charges don't come with a mandatory sentence, like, for instance, a first-degree murder conviction, then they're going to get out someday. That's just the way things are. A judge can't impose a mandatory sentence on someone just because.
Okay, Patrick, thank you. Well, this case has a lot of people wondering if there's any possible connection to the Evansdale cousins. It has been 5.5 months since the bodies of Lyric Cook and Elizabeth Collins were found in a Bremer County park. No one has been arrested for their deaths. The Black Hawk County Sheriff's Office says it is looking into the possibility of a connection with this case, but they say it's just too early to tell. Now, wrapping up our top story this afternoon, the search continues for 15-year-old Kathleen Shepard. A 12-year-old girl who was also kidnapped with her is safe. Their suspected captor dead by suicide. Search teams are combing areas in Webster, Boone, and Hamilton counties. And we will, of course, check back in with Kevin Cooney live in Dayton a little later in this newscast. There's new information in another missing persons case. The body of 46-year-old Kenneth Hackman was found yesterday in a creek near Camrar, southeast of Webster City. Friends and family had been searching for him after he was last seen Thursday in Ames. We are waiting autopsy results to determine his cause of death. And now to the latest on the Oklahoma tornado. It has now been classified as a top-of-the-scale EF5. The death toll revised today down to 24, but authorities still aren't sure how many people are missing. Adriana Diaz reports from Moore, Oklahoma.
Rescuers will keep searching the ruins of buildings and homes until every person is accounted for in the tornado-ravaged town of Moore, Oklahoma. Ashley Bursch was inside Briarwood Elementary School when a wall collapsed on her and her 6th grade classmates.
Everybody started crying, and I started crying because I didn't know if I was going to make it or not.
Plaza Towers Elementary School took a direct hit. At least 7 children were killed there.
There will be enormous grief that has to be absorbed, but you will not travel that path alone.
An emergency official says hundreds of Oklahoma schools have reinforced tornado shelters, but the 2 that were hit yesterday did not. People whose homes are now piles of rubble spent the day trying to salvage whatever belongings they could. They carted away property in suitcases. One man used a hole in his collapsed roof to carry boxes of items out of his home. Muddied and mangled cars litter a neighborhood where homes once stood. This stairway used to lead into a house here on Southwest 6th Street. It looks like the kitchen was just over there. And this house was just one of about 20 homes that was completely wiped out on this block alone. The tornado was packing 200-mile-per-hour winds when it carved a path of destruction nearly 2 miles wide and 20 miles long. The marquee of a damaged IMAX movie theater no longer lists film titles. It only says, "Please pray." Adriana Diaz, CBS News, Moore, Oklahoma.
And KCCI is teaming up with the Red Cross to help those hit by the Oklahoma tornado. You can call right in right now. Call your credit card donations in 515-247-8880. Our operators be on hand to take your calls until 7 o'clock tonight. And coming up, we will show you other ways that you can help. And now to Chief Meteorologist John McLaughlin. Any more chances for severe weather for us tonight?
Definitely quiet here in Iowa tonight. Still some strong storms in the southern U.S. as well as the East Coast. But for now, well, kind of a comfortable day out there. Temperatures in the upper 60s. Winds have been gusty out of the west all afternoon, so some breezy conditions out there. As we head on through the evening hours, temperatures will be dropping into the mid-60s, down into the low to mid-50s by early morning. Overnight clouds, maybe a sprinkle or two. Chance for some light sprinkles toward mid-morning tomorrow. It will be a cool day. Highs tomorrow in the mid-60s.
Thank you, John. The tragedy in Oklahoma is a stark reminder of the importance of having a tornado safety plan. Coming up next, what local schools are doing to make sure all their students are safe during severe weather. A look at the devastating aftermath of an elementary school in Moore, Oklahoma that took a direct hit. At least 7 students are among those killed by the tornado. And that tragedy has many local schools re-examining their tornado safety plans. KCCI's Marcus McIntosh reports.
Our first stop is in Ankeny at Centennial High School, a school that won't be open for students until this fall.
We worked with our insurance company to identify the safest places in the schools for the students to go in the event of a tornado, and those would be places like these interior hallways.
At Valley High School in West Des Moines, a FEMA grant of more than $2 million went to build this tornado-safe area for the school's 2,000-plus students.
This entire hallway, once the students get down here, is all part of the FEMA tornado shelter. You'll see the signs here, tornado safe room. Then we funnel the kids into this room.
Along with the wrestling room, the weight room can also be used to keep people out of the wrath of a storm. Rose says it gives him peace of mind knowing the students will be safe. At 112-year-old Greenwood Elementary School in Des Moines, preparation is key. During severe weather drills, the students are ushered to the lowest level of the school.
We're prepared for it. They know what to do. They understand where to go. So it's just practice. Practice makes perfect, and we continue to do that.
Hinker says he is confident his students are safe here, given the craftsmanship put into this building when it was built more than a century ago.
The traditional buildings, I think, have a little bit more of that protection, just because you do have that solid foundation and the rock and the brick and everything that they've built within.
Everyone we spoke with is confident should weather wreak havoc here, they are prepared to weather any storm. Marcus McIntosh, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
Now, Marcus says the people he spoke with for this story tell us the tragedy in Moore, Oklahoma had them take a closer look at their severe weather procedures to ensure they have everything in place to keep the students safe. And now we check in with Chief Meteorologist John McLaughlin, and it's a much more pleasant night for us ahead.
Yeah, quiet weather here, and quiet weather is a good time to plan what you will do the next time it gets a little active like it was here over the weekend. Back with the forecast next.
From Iowa's weather leader, this is your KCCI Storm Team 8 forecast.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, it's nice to be on the air, not having to talk about severe weather here in Iowa or anywhere else right now. 69 degrees currently. Bit of a breeze today. West-southwest winds 15. It's been gusty, and the pressure all the way down 2965. You watch the clouds really moving quickly today as some cooler air filtered into the region, just enough moisture. Those cloud bases looked a little dark, but no precipitation. Right now, the winds remain out of the west to southwest here in central Iowa, generally between 10 and 20 miles an hour, and that wind will gradually back down a little bit tomorrow and then turn to the northwest. That'll keep things cool again. Right now, low 60s to the north, mid to upper 60s central, low 70s hanging on across the southwest counties. A couple of cooler days coming in. Lots of low-level cloudiness over Iowa tonight. There are some very light showers and sprinkles up to the north. A few of those could cruise into the state through the overnight hours in the afternoon tomorrow. It would be very light rainfall, certainly nothing significant as far as accumulations. Low pressure moving away, the wind wrapping around to the northwest tomorrow. That's going to keep us cool tomorrow and on into Thursday, and then gradually bumping up a little bit as we head through the weekend. Tonight, 52 degrees, cloudy skies, chance for those sprinkles again late during the overnight hours. As we head through the day tomorrow, cooler than today, mid to upper 60s. Again, a few sprinkles or even a light rain shower, and the winds become more northwesterly at 10 to 15. Now, heading into the end of the week, sunshine returns for Thursday and Friday, and the temperatures gradually creep back up as well. Heading into the weekend, another area of low pressure will be spinning nearby. That will mean chances for showers and thunderstorms Saturday, Sunday, and potentially lingering into Monday and Tuesday again. With the clouds, the rain, 60s to low 70s. Early next week, we start to get back into a little stronger wind out of the south, and that's going to push temperatures back into the mid-70s to near 80 by the middle of the week.
Tonight on KCCI 8 News at 6, the search for 15-year-old Kathleen Shepard is driving home an important reminder for parents about strangers.
I'm Cynthia Fodor. After this latest abduction, how do you keep your children safe without scaring them? The conversation you need to have tonight after dinner.
500 miles from the devastation, Iowans want to help, and they are mobilizing. How you can help too tonight.
Those stories coming up at 6, but still ahead today at 5, how you can help the victims of the Oklahoma tornado. KCCI is teaming up with the Red Cross. Next. The images from Moore, Oklahoma are heartbreaking. Neighborhoods flattened, businesses destroyed, and many people have lost everything. But you can help. KCCI is teaming up with the Red Cross to help the victims of the Oklahoma tornado. And joining me now is Leslie Schaefer from the Red Cross of Central Iowa. Leslie, thanks so much for coming in today
thank you so much.
Doing this. So we see these pictures and we want to know how we can help. So what can we do?
Certainly financial donation is one of the most efficient ways to help. And right now we have folks here just waiting to take down your information.
Of course, a lot of people want to go through their closets, donate clothes and food and things like that. Why is that maybe not as effective?
Well, it really isn't as effective because you can tell from the pictures that the infrastructure is just damaged. And there really is no way to accept those donations and really get them in there, get them sorted, and get them in any kind of semblance of order for people to make any kind of use of them. So we really ask people to not do that, to hold off on those kind of efforts.
And we have our phone bank here is open until 7 o'clock tonight. The number to call 515-247-8880. But if folks can't get the phone call made tonight, how else can they donate?
Well, certainly online at redcross.org, but also Casey's has joined us, and so you can go into any Casey's location and make a donation.
And how long will you be needing help and things like that?
Well, I expect, of course, the Red Cross is there all the time. We've had Red Cross chapters in Oklahoma for many, many years, just like here in Iowa. So the Red Cross will always be there, but the relief operation will probably be ongoing for months.
Okay. Leslie Schaefer with the Red Cross, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Again, call the phone bank. We're here until 7 o'clock, 247-8880. Now we want to check back in with Kevin Cooney live in Dayton with the latest on the search for 15-year-old Kathleen Shepard.
All right, Stacy. Well, law enforcement does continue the search efforts for Kathleen Shepard. She was last seen right here in this area outside this school about 4:30 yesterday. She was abducted along with a 12-year-old girl. That little girl was able to escape. The suspected kidnapper, however, was found dead in a rural Dayton area about 8 o'clock last night. Authorities say he committed suicide. Law enforcement say they are searching in a lot of areas.
We have a rather large area based on things that we are aware of where he was during certain times yesterday afternoon and last night. It's a large area, and we have searched a lot of areas already last night and today. We are searching areas right now. Anything is a possibility. We get leads, we explore those leads, and right now we're still searching many areas.
And once again, authorities are asking if anyone saw anything, either regarding the suspect or regarding the individuals who are missing, to give Webster County authorities a call, especially they're interested in between the hours of 3 o'clock and 8 o'clock yesterday in the afternoon and evening. Stacy?
All right, Kevin, we'll be right back. Thank you.
Today's Market Report is sponsored by Wells Fargo Advisors.
We have a change of pace in our weather over the last couple of nights.
Slowing down, cooling down, cloudy skies tonight. A few sprinkles tonight through the day tomorrow. Upper 60s for highs as we move into late week. Temperatures climb back to the low 70s. Weekend a bit unsettled. There'll be chances for showers, storms, and highs right around 70 to 74 degrees.
Thank you, John. Coming up next on the CBS Evening News, the tornado aftermath. Stories of loss and survival after a twister nearly levels an entire city. Scott Pelley is live on the scene in Moore, Oklahoma next. And coming up in 30 minutes, we will return live to Dayton for the latest on the search for 15-year-old Kathleen Shepard. And a reminder, our Red Cross phone bank is open until 7 o'clock tonight. Call in your credit card donations to help the victims of the Oklahoma tornado. The number to call, 515-247-8880. And we will be back at 6.